Good evening and welcome to Prime Business with me, Emma Davis. A look at our stories. From 1st May 2024, companies that fail to file their annual returns would have to pay a penalty of 1,000 cedis. This was disclosed by the Registrar of Companies, Jemima Owari. The Office of the Registrar of Companies has started removing more than 8,000 businesses from its register. This is due to the failure of these companies to file their annual returns. But Madam Owari says her office is giving an extended grace period till April for the businesses to redeem themselves.
We're giving them a leeway period again. We are saying, please ensure that if you really want to be on the register, as a company doing serious business in Ghana, come to our offices and come and file your annual returns and financial statements by the end of April 2024. We've even given a further period of 1 month up to the end of May, because from 1st of May, a penalty will apply of 1,000. So if you are not able to do it by April, by May, when you come, you pay a penalty of 1,000. It's a flat rate. But after that, after the end of May, that's the 31st of May, from June, we'll strike out these names and put it on the website. And so whoever is doing business with them should check the website to find out whether they are still on our register. But the courts have an opportunity to bring you back on. The law allows you to go to the courts to request us to put your name back on the register, but it's at the discretion of the court. We are no more, in the place. So I would advise that if you really, really, really want to be in the register, please come up and ensure that you do what you have to do.
Executive Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, says the government should focus on improving tax collection efficiency before considering new taxes. His comments follows a report by NEDCo that ranked Ghana third in West Africa with the highest cost of living. In an interview with Joy Business, Professor Korte warned that new taxes would overburden citizens and negatively impact their cost of living.
New taxes, it will have some indirect effects on prices, and that certainly is going to affect people's real income. If you tax electricity, we're going to spend more to buy electricity, and therefore if I spend more to buy electricity, I'll have less money to buy food. I'll have less money to enjoy entertainment and other basic needs of life. So any new tax you impose is certainly going to lead to increase in inflation, unless the tax is commensurate with an increase in production, an increase in real sector activity. So food production, for instance, goes up so much such that prices of food items will come down. Although we are imposing taxes, we are also supporting farmers, we are supporting irrigation, supporting other sectors of the economy. Otherwise, if we just impose taxes, people's real, without a commensurate support to the productive sectors, people's real incomes or purchasing power will come down. I also think that we don't always have to increase taxes. You can look at the existing tax handles and make them more efficient. I don't think we have achieved so much efficiency in our tax handles. There's a lot of room, a lot of human interface. Yes, digitalization is catching up, which is very good, but we need to deepen that and ensure that we reduce the human interface and make tax payments affordable, easier, and quicker so that people would comply, as well as ensuring that the taxes that are collected are used to the benefit of the taxpayer. Otherwise, it will be difficult for citizens to continue to pay taxes.
Now, the Bank of Ghana says it is embarking on various anti-money laundering measures to avert another round of blacklisting from markets in the European Union and the United Kingdom. Ghana in 2022 was removed from the EU blacklist following a successful evaluation of Ghana's regime against money laundering and financing of terrorism by the Financial Action Task Force. Second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Elsie Ado-Awaji, says the central bank is ready to collaborate with other key stakeholders within the financial sector to maintain this feat. Here's more.
The Bank of Ghana says Ghana's cooperation with the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa will be crucial to its future success in combating money laundering and terrorist financing. Elsie Awaji said the central bank will continue to strengthen its AML-CFT regime, particularly in the areas of oversight, enforcement, and international cooperation.
It took us a longer time to get off the EU and the UK list after we got off the FATF grey list, but thank God we got off all the adverse listings. And ladies and gentlemen, I've taken my time to explain all of this because in 2025, we have another opportunity. We're going to go to the third round of the mutual evaluation. So this week's exercise is then extremely important because this week's exercise is going to give us as stakeholders the opportunity to do our own self-assessment, if you will, okay? After all of the reforms we put in place from 2018, 2019, 2020, that got us off all the adverse listings. Where are we today? It is important that we do not take this exercise for granted at all. Let me pledge on behalf of Governor Addison that the Bank of Ghana, as the guardian of Ghana's monetary system, remains committed to playing its part to ensuring that this NRA is started and completed successfully, and indeed that we're ready to face the third round mutual evaluation exercise.
Director of Research at the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, Muzu Umaru, called for more effort to curb the menace.
GIABA can testify to the progress made by this country, and it is highly significant and worthy of admiration. Ghana exited the FATF targeted monitoring under the ICRG process in record time of 2 years. This is indeed a well-deserved achievement. While we celebrate the progress made by Ghana, it is also important to note that the progress made is in the context of work in progress. As labor union members will always say, a luta continua, Victoria Asata. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, the international standards for monitoring compliance with AML-CFT standards were revised significantly in 2012 and in 2013.
The Energy Commission says there is an increase in the use of renewable energy, particularly solar, by small and medium enterprises and some individuals. According to Director of Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency at the Energy Commission, Kofi Ajako, this has led to many initiatives to scale up the renewable energy program for households and industry. More in the following report.
Scaling up renewable energy program is part of the government's efforts to expand the use of renewable energy for households and businesses. As part of the initiative, a net metering component has been added to help individuals commercialize their generation. Speaking at a ceremony to open the training session for technical staff of ECG and NEDCo, Kofi Ajako, the Director of Renewable Energy and Efficiency at the Energy Commission, stated that interest in the use of solar has seen a significant increase in the last few years.
We're overwhelmed by the interest that Ghanaians expressed. We received in excess of 3,000 applications, but we could only serve a little over 1,500 because we're providing subsidy. So at the point when the subsidy dwindled, we couldn't continue. So over the period, we have been waiting for an opportunity like this. And thankfully, the development partners have come on board. And that is why we are going to continue from where we left off. But this is going to be on a larger scale.
Speaking on behalf of the Energy Minister, Engineer Seth Mahu, Deputy Coordinator for the initiative, hinted at the government's plans to use renewables to meet the high demand for electricity.
That is solar home systems and mini grids electrification, targeting communities that are very difficult to be connected to the national grid because of their geographical locations. Example, islands in the Volta Lake. It's so difficult to extend a national grid to those communities. Therefore, we are using a very innovative solution which will allow us to construct power plants in these communities, have their own distribution networks. More or less, they become an autonomous, utilities in those communities to provide energy to households and businesses.
The overall objective of the training is to equip the relevant technical staff of the distribution utilities with the necessary skills to enable them to verify the correct installation of solar PV systems.
In our maiden episode of Entrepreneur in You, we look at some key nuggets to help you invest your time and resources effectively as a business using the BCG matrix. Here's Dr. Maxwell Ampon with Entrepreneur in You.
Hello, I believe everyone in Ghana now is a hustler. We're either doing one thing or the other, or both, or many. But how do you decide how to invest your time and your resources efficiently and efficaciously? The Boston Consulting Group Matrix, popularly known as the BCG Matrix, is one way that can help you do this. Imagine your enterprise as a garden with many different plants. How do you decide which plant to water and which one to get rid of? Rating your revenue points according to their growth rates and their market share is one way to go. When you have a high growth rate and high market share, you have a star. These are your thriving plants. These are popular and fast growing. Keep nurturing them and they could become a cash cow. Cash cows have a high market share but very low growth rate. The fact that stars have a high growth rate allows for high expenditure as well, as opposed to the cash cow that maintains the high market share but has a low growth rate and requires very little maintenance to keep things going, if you get what I mean. The third category are your question marks. These have a high growth rate but a low market share, so you don't know whether they're going to survive or not. An example is the nose mask mania that happened recently. It had a high growth rate, everyone was buying it, but you had a very little amount of the market share, so you have no promise of the future. You do not know whether it will survive as a business or it will die. Those that go to die are unfortunately categorized as the dogs. They have a low growth rate and a low market share, and we advise you quit putting money in there. Almost startups or most enterprises start off like that. Of course, it's a new thing, so it has a low growth rate and has a low market share as well. Using the BCG matrix is one way to decide where to put your limited time and your precious resources. And that's it for today's episode of Entrepreneur You. Keep well.
I hope that was helpful. And that's all for Prime Business tonight with me, Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com.